We're going to get into the newspapers, the headlines that we have today. On the front page of their daily graphic, we have forest reclamation kicks off. Okay, and here's some photo there of persons within some forested area. Hohoi, home of vast tourism potential. Ghana signs convention to root out genocide and international crimes. Kufuor to host 67th Independence Day celebrations. And on the back page, we have a story there by our good friend, Dr. Hilda Mantebia-Boy, president of PSG, says increasing funding for school feeding program, PSG to increase funding for school feeding program, PSG to government.
All right, so on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have State Attorney lands in hot water. Debarred for General Legal Counsel over 400,000 Ghana cedis Woyome money. 2 prison wardens handed over to police following escape of Chinese inmate. And shoddy work renders 3 One Village, One Dam projects ineffective in UER, and that's by the WRC. And Speaker rallies MPs to promote Ghanaian languages, culture, and dressing, which he actually does well with the dressing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's very dramatic. Yesterday, for example, it looked like Mansa Musa.
It looks like a sultan.
Yeah, you know, from back in the day, yeah. So, anyway, well, what I find interesting is the plethora of languages that is looking to open up, you know. But then this morning it was explained in the news that it will be the use of technology so people can hear. Do you understand? Because I was asking myself that, wait, so if you're speaking, let's say, from a place in one corner of the country, right, and maybe it's only you and your constituents who are watching by TV understand you. Nobody else in the rooms understand what would happen, you know. But then they talked about the use of technology, so everybody will be on headsets, there'll be interpreters and all those things, so people understand. Yeah. Anyway, then you find out anti-LGBTQ bill goes through second consideration stage following Afenyo Maken's motion. Cheap funds to private sector expenditure cuts will savage economy. From Dr. Etia Hene in his picture there. Nekwe Tete barred from practicing law in Ghana. And creative arts to be elevated, as Dr. Baumia Idris Elba discussed strategies. Okay, and that's what we have for the front page of the New Finder.
All right, so on the front page of the Daily Guide, Ghana-Zambia strengthen trade investment ties. Works Housing Ministry honors Hackman. Top lawyer disbarred over Woyome 400K Ghana cedis. Afenyo arrests passage of anti-gay bill. And lastly, AG signs International Crimes Convention.
All right. I have the Chronicle, and it says here, why your NSS Alawa delays? That should be an interesting read. Council orders prosecution witness in Saglemi trial. Please read Proverbs 18, verse 17 to the hearing of the court. Wow. Ghana signs pact on fight against international crimes. We also have Bantama Asenso Boache names housing project after Hackman. And the scripture for today is Proverbs chapter 26, verse 4. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. Wow.
All right, on the front page of the Republic Press, we have some interesting headlines here. Afenyo blocks gay jail bill. And Western Region man, 39, bites off attendance ear at Wasa Tokbekrum. We didn't discuss seeking spiritual assistance, Kaswa teenager tells court. 65 people killed in motorcycle crashes in Tema in 2023, and that's by the GPCC. Yeah.
All right. So I have the Inquisitor, and the headlines here. Land shooting at East Legon. Gunshots at 138 Monrovia Road. Workers run for life. 65 people killed in motorcycle crashes in Tema in 2023. Businessman's pay agenda against Napo flops. Timing of Nana's reshuffle problematic. Kudun PNE speaking. Parliament to probe Cocoa Road's debt-owned contractors. All right, so those are the stories on the front page of the Inquisitor.
All right, on the front page of the Informer, which is actually my last paper, Bahumia urges speedy action. And in this issue, economic don thumbs up Bahumia, says his policies for private sector is apt, and evil plot against Napo backfires. Businessman fingered. Land looting brigade strikes again. At number 138 Monrovia Street, fire shots to scare, chase away legitimate owners, and exploration of Ewoya lithium.
Yeah.
Give us development, not deceit, chiefs tell Atlantic Mines.
All right, let's go over to citynewsroom.com. Let's see what stories we have there on citynewsroom.com. Now, this one says, Amin Adams' appointment too late to turn around economy is coming from Setepe. We also have here top trending stories. Baumia to launch government's Tap and Go transport initiative on February 19th. Hey, Lord, this is interesting. Okay. Parliament to encourage use of local languages during proceedings, is what we spoke about earlier. IFDC calls for strong partnerships to address challenges confronting farmers. Then we also have ignoring Western North from ministerial appointments strange. Samson Ahi speaking there.
All right, and we have some other stories here. New ministers will petition Akufo-Addo for sidelining Western North, and that's by Samson Ahim. And GNAT descends on OSP for blocking salaries of 404 teachers. Parliament rejects Afenyo Markin's request for replacement of custodial sentences with community services for gay activities. And special prosecutors seek support of religious leaders in corruption fight. Scrutinize anti-gay bill. It's likely to resurrect criminal libel law, and that's by Afenyo Markin. Ghana's 67th Independence Day celebration launched in Eastern Region. 5 suspects remanded over murder of Jirapa Dubai owner. Mobile money vendor dead after shooting incident at Wale Wale. Cut down expenditure on ministers. MDAs to barest minimum. Atuahini tells government. And lastly, actress Martha Ankoma sues Lil Wayne over alleged defamatory comments.
Yeah. All right, I want to take a story from scrutinize anti-gay bill. It's likely to resurrect criminal libel law. Let me just read that quickly before we go for a break. Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo Markin has called for increased media scrutiny of the anti-gay bill currently before Parliament. Now, he expressed concern that the bill could inadvertently reintroduce elements of the repealed criminal libel law for journalists and media houses reporting on LGBTQ plus activities. Now, Mr. Afenyo Markin voiced his opposition to custodial sentences for individuals found guilty of engaging in LGBTQ plus activities. Now, on Thursday, February 8th, Parliament approved a 3 to 5 year jail term for individuals found who intentionally promoted or sponsored LGBTQ plus activities. Now, those caught in the act could face a minimum of 6 months and a maximum of 3 years in prison. Now, during the amendment process of the bill promoting proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values, Mr. Afenyo Markin argued that the punitive measures would not contribute to the rehabilitation of the offenders. He expressed concern about the state of the country's prisons and their inability to provide the necessary rehabilitation for offenders. Now, the Afutu lawmaker proposed replacing a minimum 2-month imprisonment sentence with a minimum 1-month community service for individuals found guilty of said activities. Now, let me go down and read a quote here. It says, "I do not think that the media has paid due regard to this bill because it is written in ink that if a media house expresses any editorial policy on any issue regarding sexuality, that media house and its members or that media person would be jailed. If you impose custodial sentences, you are setting the country back to where, as a country, we said a journalist who errs must face civil liability instead of criminal consequences." Yeah, so the story goes on there, and you can also go to citynewsroom.com to read. But this is interesting. So it says that it's written in ink in the bill that if you cover any stories regarding sexuality, or it rather says that if you express any editorial policy on any issue regarding sexuality, the media house, its members, or the journalists involved will face a jail sentence. All right, well, we'll see how this goes down.
It's a very dicey one.
Yeah, well.
It's a very, very, very dicey one.
And he's right, because he said if that is really the case and there's no room around it, then definitely the criminal libel law will be back in full effect, as it were. So we were very relieved when it got repealed. So we need to make sure that we are clear on what it is that we're doing as a nation and what we want as a people.
Yeah, and also if I have to compare this to some African countries that have also implemented this kind of law, most times, I'm sorry to say this, but this is Africa, we've seen it happen. Most times, even Nigeria here, they have this laws, these kind of laws, but at the end of the day, it only affects the poor. It only affects the poor.
Unfortunately.
So
it's like you can't fight it.
So
and
exactly,
and
you don't have the money.
You're the one who's going to launch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, the part where you read by anybody that also promotes.
Yes.
So we are looking at Western organizations that are here. Like last time, some years ago, we actually saw an embassy here kind of like support, the community. So does that mean? Yes,
that's what it means. It's that level of support or promotion will come under the bill, under the law once it's passed. In its current state. As for that one, yes, you can't. Anyway,